What deliberate move will make any government not pay as it went due, knowing full well that every interest accrued to that particular market is investment, will also be sorted out by the government?
That's what we keep saying. Look, today as it is as a nation, I just hope that the incoming government will be able to stand to the challenges, in terms of the kind of structure that is around the oil and gas sector. I hope they will be able to stand the structure. You ask, why? Why won't somebody be held responsible? We've heard from the 2011 into 2012 the issues of subsidy scam, the issues of fraudulent documents being presented to swindle Nigeria's economy in terms of collecting huge amount of money. Has there been anybody held responsible? From the Minister of Finance, from the Minister of Petroleum, and so forth and so on. Because I've told you there are various agencies involved in inspecting this process.
The point, Solana, so are you saying that since government is to pay most of these fees, especially even if the banks, if the interest accrue, government, if they delay in paying and the interest goes a little high, they still pay?
They still pay. Government still pays.
In other words, it doesn't make sense if you don't pay early and you let the interest accrue and you pay a higher cost.
A higher cost. And so somebody should be held responsible for not doing his job. If a document gets to your table for you to process quickly, and so that you remove these issues of additional payment of government. Government paying for the forest differential, government is paying for the
bank interest,
differentials again. So why would I allow you be in an office, and as a government, I will still pay for this differential because of your lukewarm attitude or your irresponsibilities on the job you're supposed to do? And so if somebody is held responsible today, I'm telling you, by tomorrow, you will see what will happen. Just for the fact that they had Buhari has been elected into office, there are so many awareness and alert everywhere. And so I'm happy of some of the transformation that is now taking place recently.
What's the state of our refineries?
Oh, that's a big question. It's a recurring issue, and it pains me. It pains my heart. It pains our sector as an institution today. We have canvassed for several years. You keep seeing, the minister comes in, but then I think this is the longest serving minister we've ever had, as long as the system is concerned, for a period, apart from those who left the system and came back again, like Lukman. But again, I ask myself why this refineries won't work. Well, we have all it takes as a nation to make these refineries to work. Again, somebody must be held responsible if the refineries must work, because you keep seeing huge amount of money. Because if you go to NNPC and ask, what have you done so far, you will hear billions of dollars being spent on turnaround maintenance, and yet the refineries are not working. And so who should be held responsible? And that is where the question comes. For me, why are we not building new refineries like other nations? And is Nigerian refinery the oldest refinery in the world? The answer is no. The oldest refinery in India is still working. And there are older refineries in the US that are still working. And here we are. Our refinery, the last refinery that was built in 1988. And I think about commissioned in 1989, if I'm not mistaken. And up to this moment, we've not built any other refinery. And the last refinery that was built either in the US or so was built in 81. And it's still working.
So your point then is, if I can move slightly away from the refinery, though not completely, you're suggesting, because I see some headlines where Labour is saying that they will resist any removal of fuel subsidy. But you're asking, why are we still paying subsidy?
I don't know why I am today the deputy president of NLC. I think my president is Comrade Joe Ajero.
Not Ayuba?
No, Ayuba, Comrade Joe Ajero. But I'll tell you of the truth. You see, we are not averse to the removal of subsidy. But we're also talking about the political will of government to sustain the system. And key things we have said is, if government want to remove the subsidies as expected, like I'm happy today that the National Assembly has also taken a bold step in making sure One, no subsidy, in the budget, no subsidy payment in the budget. So it's the 0% subsidy payment, and that's a good move.
That's a good move?
Yeah, that's a good move. It's a challenge to government, and for government to begin to sit down and say, look, what do we do to see that our refineries work? It's a challenge, because maybe you just see a situation where there is a budget for subsidy payment, and some people will be there milking Nigerians and making sure that the refinery doesn't work. And then government will be held responsible. It's not just government. You and I are held responsible in paying the subsidy that these millions of these few Nigerians are taking.
Well, let me understand something. Is your group of a faction of the NLC trying to be populist? Because I know that Labour, they always speak up about removal of subsidy, because if you have to remove it, they say put in place some measures.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. But let me say
it's not been put in place, and you say
no. Look, it's a good move. Those measures will come. But I've said clearly, even if Buhari comes in today as the president of this nation tomorrow, if he's been sworn in, he cannot perform magic in making sure within 6 months the oil and gas sector, the product will be there for Nigerians to consume. No, it will take you minimum of 1 year to get the refineries turnaround and maintenance done, because you have to go out for these materials. You have to go, to the shops to look for.
Let's get something straight.
Yeah, about
you mean it's possible to fix the refineries?
Very much possible.
And the possibility hasn't actually been looked into all these years? That's
the key issues. Maybe they look into these issues, but implementations is the issues we are facing today. Let me tell you, like today, the outgoing president has a very, very good plan for the oil and gas sector. A masterpiece, if I may say, a world-class masterpiece. When you talk about the oil, revolutionary plan in the oil and gas sector today. But today he's leaving. And I want to ask myself, this masterpiece of gas revolution that is being created, I hope and pray that the incoming government will build on that masterpiece and actualize it, because that's the masterpiece that's going to create millions of jobs for Nigerians. Now, on the issues of subsidy, look, I've said clearly, how much does this cost you to refine 1 liter of crude oil? What is the cost to get a liter of, a barrel of crude oil to a liter of petroleum product that we have today, we consume today? If we put all these indices together, and then, like I said, the template is there. You have the custom template, you have the immigration template. In as much as today we are importing, and I should say that government should see importation as a stopgap means, not an end to a means. Because we have the resources. And when you take this product out, why are we paying the huge amount of subsidy we are paying today? And government should also ask questions, where are the revenues of the byproducts of this crude oil that is being sent out to refine offshore? There are byproducts. There are gas in it. There are LPFOs. There are SROGs of this crude oil. In fact, the byproduct of crude oil is unmeasurable.
Do we receive the byproducts?
And that's a big question we need to ask again. I've asked this question, and the place I asked this question, I said, look, Komedigwe, you have come again, you want to now create another problem for Nigerians again. Why are you saying this? Please keep calm on that issue. And these are the kind of issues.
Well, you kept calm.
Keep calm on that. And I said, no, government must do something. I said, look, don't worry, we're going to take it up. And I asked myself, up to this moment, have they taken up any issues on the byproduct that comes out of the crude oil we send out to refine?
But there's never been any strike about Labour speaking about the byproducts of
course.
We never heard it.
No. We won't go on strike on the issues of byproduct. I think
it
must be part of the whole issues of talking about, rehabilitating and making sure the refinery works.
Okay, that part doesn't feature prominently.
Of course, if the refinery works, the byproduct questions will come up, because the byproducts need to create jobs for Nigerians, and investors need to come in also to make sure these byproducts are also being used, even if you are exporting them out. The revenue of exporting them out brings in a lot of income to Nigeria. Now, who is involved? Yeah. I've said the level at which we find ourselves in the level of corruption in the oil and gas sector is so huge, and not just only a system that is going to collapse the nation's economy. Today we are seeing it now, that there's no petroleum product in the filling stations and the rest, and here we are.
That seems to be another part that contributes to when you see those long queues. What about the parts where tanker drivers or unions like yours go on strike for maybe some internal problem and the Nigerians are made to bear the brunt?
No. The issue of, I don't want to use the word strike, where we withdraw services.
Is PTD not on strike, thereby contributing to this fuel
No,
scarcity?
PTD is not on strike for now.
But you heard the report, NNPC saying...
NNPC assumed that when they didn't know the real facts of why PTD are not loading, PTD they were workers.
But they were not loading.
We're workers. Listen, let me just explain this to Nigerians. We are workers. We work for NATO. And NATO and marketers...
NATO being...
employers. And if an employer says, Mr. Man, my truck is not going to go out to load today, I can't force the truck to go and load. I am an employer. And my employer says, please shut my door. I don't want any workers in my factory today. So who am I as an employee? And that is exactly what is happening. So PTD is not on strike. NUPENG is not on strike.
But NATO...
NATO is on strike.
They're not loading.
They are not loading. Now, NATO is on strike because they feel marketers are owing them. Marketers have also refused to pay them. And the marketers are also saying, look, government is also owing them, and government has also not paid them. Again, on our own part, we've said clearly, for the past 4 or 5 months, some of our tanker drivers also have not been paid their salary. And we're still working. We're still haulaging product to the various outlets.
How does it work? Because, I mean, you say now that if the employer says something, who are you to go against it?
Yeah.
But we've seen cases where you have gone on strike sometimes when some internal crisis happen. For instance, if maybe somebody is sacked or relieved of his duties or something doesn't happen properly internally, you still go on strike based on that.
We've never just wake up one morning and go on strike. There are processes, and those processes must be exhausted before we withdraw our services. Now, on the issues of sack of workers, if you look in all the strike actions that have taken place within this period, we have also gone through those processes, going through the Ministry of Petroleum, Ministry of Labor, sometimes the SCF, we want to wade into the issues and to resolve them. But in a situation where we find ourselves that the process, even when we have court judgment of saying that, look, these workers must be reinstated, or these workers must be paid his entitlements and the rest of them. Now, if you look at what we do today, we don't want to create hardship on Nigerians, because we are also Nigerians. And as such, we sectionalize our strike actions. If we think that government owe Nigerians responsibility, a responsibility in terms of talking about, let's say, Lagos today, and the government of Lagos knows that a citizen of Nigeria in their state working in this sector has been fired, they have a responsibility as well to intervene. And what is the functions of government? Create jobs, secure the jobs that are also available, and and make sure staff welfare has also been taken care of. And once we find a situation where all these issues are keep foot dragging, the last tool of the Nigerian workers, also enshrined in the Constitution, globally, internationally, is to withdraw services.